Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is Avion Murphy talking about fibromyalgia today. It's the 10th of February 2019. Hope you enjoy listening in and learning a little bit about fibromyalgia. Welcome to the channel. Today, in this video, I wanted to talk about dealing to heal. I posted a video earlier and I said I wanted to talk about blurred vision, but I didn't talk about blurred vision because I have fibro fog. Because there's so much to talk about in one video, I don't always get to everything that I want to talk about, so I'm going to try to narrow it down to blurred vision and also a little bit of humor. If you are new to fibromyalgia, my sympathies and condolences to you. But the reason that I do this channel is because I want you to know that there is hope. At the same time, if you are tuning in because you want to know more about fibromyalgia, I'm here to tell you that I suffer from fibromyalgia. I was diagnosed in 2015, and I've been up and down on the roller coaster of treatment for fibromyalgia ever since. There is hope, but fibromyalgia sucks, basically, because, I mean, for a lot of reasons, but it sucks because even though the CDC website will tell you that it can be managed, the road to management for fibromyalgia is unlike a road for many other illnesses in that you have to play with the medication and the management and the unique combination that works for you to manage fibromyalgia. Unlike when you have a cold, even though it's viral, you can't kill the virus, but you can do a lot to manage the symptoms. Fibromyalgia is not viral. It's not contagious. It's neurological, and you must manage the symptoms if you want to be comfortable, relatively comfortable. But there's no cure. So a cold, you'll eventually get over the cold, right? The symptoms go away. It sucks for a little while, depending on the degree of your cold, but it'll go away and you'll get back to your normal life. So if you're suffering with fibromyalgia, you will never have your normal life back. Sorry. You can have a good life, you can have a good quality of life, but I said in my last video that I have been in denial for the past 4 years about fibromyalgia. I wanted to be the poster child for someone who beat it, who was living a great life and was managing her symptoms. And if you know me, and people who know me do say this, to look at us and look at me, you would never know that I suffer with fibromyalgia. And that's due to a combination of a lot of factors I won't talk about today. So speaking of humor, early on when I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, of course I reached out onto the internet to try to find some help, and I did find some blogs with really funny memes, and one of the memes was something like 10 things not to say to someone with fibromyalgia. And the most common one that we get, and you'll find this, is if people find out that you have it, is they'll say, but you don't look sick, or you look great. And somebody wrote in the meme, somebody said, and your response to that should be, well, you don't look like a doctor. Which, humor is really important. I wouldn't say that to somebody else. We probably would all think it, but I thought it was just a really funny response. So we have to forgive people's ignorance of it I mean, just think about if you're newly diagnosed, what you know about it. You don't know much about it either, right? So imagine somebody who isn't suffering with it. They don't know anything about it. And even though there's a lot of stuff out there, I don't know, it just perspective only happens when something happens to you, right? Then you get a greater understanding of what that issue is. So I think my suggestion is to just, if you can, just forgive people for their ignorance. It's not, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just mean understand that people don't understand, and they are making comments because they care about you and they love you, and they don't understand and they want to know more. So I would say that was one of the first things that I had to deal with is how to deal with people's comments. So for a long time I didn't tell anybody, and then I told my immediate family and friends, but socially or even at work, people don't know, and that's a personal decision. So you're going to have to come to terms with that in some way. So I wanted to get to blurred vision. So one of the symptoms that I have is on and off sporadic blurred vision. And again, I've been in denial, so I'm starting to confess that I have these symptoms, and not because I want to be a crybaby and bellyache to everybody and tell you what my symptoms are, but just because this might be happening to you. So at first I thought it was my glasses, or then I thought it was because I was tired because I'm on the computer a lot. And then I thought I was tired because I was driving a lot, and but no, those things might affect vision normally, yes, but I'm coming to understand that blurred vision is one of those symptoms that you may or may not have. It may come and it may go, but don't be surprised, and it's common, and I cannot even begin to tell you what to do to treat that. So you might want to ask your doctor if there's anything you can do. I don't know. If you want to talk about it to somebody and find out and maybe share it on this page, that would be great, but I haven't found anything except just rest. And that is a gnarly thing to suggest too, because for many of us, the pain and the symptoms are so severe that we can't rest anyway. So it's just kind of a vicious cycle. But not to bum you out, but I promised that I would address it in the last video, and it's fairly common. The upside of it, if you try to be positive, is to appreciate when your vision is good, when your vision is clear, when you're having a good vision day, just to be happy in that, moment. I also wanted to talk really quickly about the myriad of support that's out there. According to the CDC, I think the number is about 10 million people in the U.S. Are suffering with fibromyalgia that are diagnosed. They don't talk about those that are undiagnosed. I don't know how they could, but I'm sure that there are a gajillion people out there suffering with undiagnosed fibromyalgia. I think the number is increasing 3 million every year, 3 million new diagnosed cases of fibromyalgia. And I read somewhere, I'm sorry I can't cite the source, but I read somewhere that between 3 and 6% of the global population suffers with fibromyalgia. So that's welcome to the club. You're in a good company. At some point, I'd like to do a few videos about the nuts and bolts of fibromyalgia, just the real science about it. But basically, if you've come to this channel, we just talk about fibromyalgia, just one aspect of it, doing good things for yourself, taking care of yourself, and having hope and a good attitude, which is critical to success in any illness, right? Just project a positive outcome. I'm going to get through today. Live one day at a time, like we do with many other illnesses and diseases. Just take today. If today's a bad day, okay, it's a bad day. Chalk it up to a bad day. Tomorrow's a new day. Maybe tomorrow will be better. I talked about medication, and I wanted to clarify something. There are myriad prescriptions that are out there. I'm sorry that you have to go through this, but again, this is why fibromyalgia is so evil, because you might try starting down the road of taking medication for it, and it's trial and error. You're going to try something and it may or may not work. Don't give up. Try something else. Tell your doctor what's happening to you. Ask for something else. The doctors are there to help you. They're there because they don't want to harm you. They want to heal you. So they want to help you. So trust in your medical professionals. Take the medication. Don't be like me. I ended up weaning myself off of prescription drugs just because that's my nature. I don't recommend that. But you do have to go through a bit of trial and error to find the right combination of treatment and dose and type of medication. I know you want to reach out to your fibromyalgia support groups online. We're a very compassionate family, but just understand that many of us are really struggling with day-to-day stuff, and so you might not find the answer that's out there because, or the one that you're looking for, because we don't have the answers, right? We're all trying to support each other, but you might spend a lot of time looking for an answer from somebody and maybe feeling like you're going on a wild goose chase. And the last thing I want to talk about is what I call deal to heal. So I've been up every night this past week. I had a traumatic experience, an event happen within the last 2 weeks, and it hit me last week. And I went to bed early, between 6 and 8 p.m. every night, and I was up by 2 pretty much every morning, wide awake with anxiety. And the way that I handle it is I call it deal to heal. So I try to separate out what it is that's making me anxious and really zero in on that and focus on that, and then get up and just deal with it. Just get up and deal with it. You're going to roll around in bed anyway, which makes things worse because you're just exacerbating your own efforts to fall back to sleep, right? So you lay in bed and you think, why can't I sleep? Why can't I sleep? Why can't I sleep? I feel like one of those commercials where, the ticking of the clock sounds like thunder, and everything is magnified 100-fold in the middle of the night when you're trying to get some good rest. So just get up. That's what I do. Just get up and deal with it, whatever it is that's causing you the anxiety. Just one thing. Maybe you have 100 things on your plate and you're anxious about life in general. Just try to do one thing. Try to deal with one thing and kind of put that aside, and then say, okay, I've done something for myself that's good, and now I'm going to try to go back to sleep. So I don't know if that'll work for you, but I just try to share what works for me. Deal to heal. Listen to your doctors if you're new. Yes, reach out for the groups that are out here on the internet. Don't get discouraged if you don't get the answer that you want. Please be compassionate with others, and please be patient with us. We're all trying to find our way through this evil, nasty thing that we have. So just be patient, okay? I know it's hard. Be patient. Try to have faith. If you're a person of faith, really, really just find something that you can trust that is perhaps a higher power than yourself. God, source, call it what you will, spirit, creator. Have faith that you're gonna do fine. You are going to manage this, and you're going to get through it, because the alternative is really unacceptable. Okay, so there's 2 ways to look at it. I'm going to do better. I'm going to deal with my day. I'm going to manage this. I'm going to do my very best, and I'm going to love myself through it. And the alternative is not doing any of those, and that's a terrible place to be. So try to take support where you can get it. Okay, you can't drink from an empty cup, and you can't pour from an empty pitcher. So you've got to fill yourself up with things that bring you joy. things that bring you peace, things that bring you comfort. Be gentle with yourself. Give your body permission to heal. Find something that brings you peace. Right now, I have these videos. I'm focusing on birds on my feeder. That's one way that I find peace. We get a lot when we give. I like feeding the birds because I see them come back. It brings me joy. And it's really relaxing. It's like a tranquilizer. It's like a prescription medication. It's just watching all the different birds and just getting into them and taking my mind off myself a little bit. So I wanted to share that with you. I'm wishing you joy and comfort and peace today. Thank you so much for listening. This is Avion Murphy. Please check in again. I have a YouTube channel. I will be uploading this onto YouTube. It is called Fibromyalgians. You are in good company. We are all trying to support one another. You are welcome here. I'm so sorry that you're suffering with what you're suffering with, but there is hope. Things are getting better. People are finding new treatments for fibromyalgia every day. I just read something the other day that someone is doing, found that if you go into a hyperbaric chamber, which is where they pump in 100% oxygen, they found that their fibromyalgia sufferers find some relief by doing that. So there's a lot of research out there. We're learning new things all the time. We can only hope that there is going to be treatment and cures for it. Don't give up, okay? Sending love, sending wishes for peace and joy. Enjoy today. Today is all we have, okay? I love you. I'll talk to you soon.